Welcome back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry, and back all the way from the golden, sunny state of oranges and a talking mouse. Eric's the whiskey mutant. He's back.
Gosh, Perry. That was goofy.
How'd you get back so soon,
Gosh, Perry.
So Eden has Mickey and Minnie dolls, and she's like, "Daddy, let's play Mickey and Minnie." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And so I will do Mickey's voice for her, but it's always really out of pocket Mickey. She's like, let's go swim, Mickey. And I'm like, I don't know how to swim anymore, Minnie. I kind of forgot.
I don't know. Gosh.
We gotta go down there.
Gosh, Mickey, I'll take Minnie down there.
Are you sure? Well, now's as good a time as any to remind you that the official
he's right here.
mascot of the podcast, Steamboat Willie. There's his boat. Stupid little boat. It's a steamboat. Yeah, he's visited us for a brief moment. Pete, I love you. I never know what to say to Pete. He's always so off-putting.
I mean, he's just sitting right there.
Yeah, I know. That's what.
He's got the mouse.
That's what
the mouse
freaks me. Oh no, Pete! Put Mickey down. Oh, sorry. Put Steamboat Willie down. Anyway,
he's not putting him down at all.
Yeah, that's completely
I wouldn't worry
fair.
About that.
And I want you, after this podcast is over, not you.
Oh,
maybe in the middle of it, depending on how well you do with multitasking, to put down your phone, get on your internet browser, go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast and support the show. Not you, the listener, the viewer.
I was confused.
Okay, fine.
Sorry.
I don't want to do this right now.
I'm just going to do it anyway, okay?
For as little as $1 a month and as little as you can support the show, and for as little as $5 a month, you get bonus content that's over there as well. We got the pregame chats that come out before every episode. We got the uncut version of each episode every week. We also have a bonus episode that comes out every Monday. And it's, it's awesome. A good time.
It's the best Patreon content you can have.
We're also recording this approximately 8 hours later than we normally do because it's not your fault.
I had to work,
but that doesn't make it your fault.
I wasn't supposed to. I had to.
Yeah, but were you the one that called in sick? Save your tears.
Sorry.
We normally kick off episodes with Flying Blind or Sips and Snacks. I've been told we have a special Sips and Snacks.
Well, as of this morning,
last night for me.
Last night, a legend passed away. If you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know that Perry and I are huge Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all the above fans, and the creator himself passed away, Akira Toriyama. And it sucks. It does. It was not like he was still writing stories. It wasn't like he was like on his deathbed or something. So,
I mean, Dragon Ball Super is still being published.
Yeah.
He was still writing for that. Dragon Ball Daima, the new anime that's supposed to be out later this year. He was heavily involved in the creation of, and it just, he was a formative part of, I say my childhood, but that even continued into being an adult.
Yeah.
I mean, we are both anime nerds, Dragon Ball nerds. And, I was so excited for, and this is a very selfish take on his passing, but I was so excited for the future that he had for Dragon Ball, because he was really getting involved again and having a hand in the storytelling, and it's just gone.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the influence he had on all the current anime and anime that came after Dragon, like it's outstanding.
Well, and the amazing thing is too, the impact and the like boundary breaking that Dragon Ball created.
Yeah.
Past cultures, past economic statuses, past, even just borders, breaking out of Japan. I mean, go look at some of the tributes to him online, and the amount that are from Mexico, from Spanish speaking countries too. It's profound.
I mean, I don't remember. That may have been the first time that I would run home, throw my stuff down, and immediately turn on Toonami and start watching Dragon Ball Z. And I would watch the same episodes over and over because it took forever for us to get the newer episodes. And finally, we'd start getting new episodes. And like that's just where binging, like you could stay up at night and Cartoon Network would show a ton of Dragon Ball Z. Like I said, the same episodes over and over, but that's the first time I think I learned what binging a TV show is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I just recently really for the first time read all the way through the original Dragon Ball manga run. And actually, the weirdest thing, like, so he actually died on the first.
Oh yeah,
right. They've already had his funeral. He was an incredibly private person.
Oh yeah, there's
I mean, rarely ever communicated with fans. Only time he ever really would was over email, and even then, he just kind of was like, eh. But he really valued his privacy, and so it wasn't until yesterday that they announced on March 7th that he had passed. So the weirdest thing to me is that February 29th, I started reading the very first volume of Dragon Ball again. I was just like, I felt this pull to like restart it, even though I just got done with it.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, and it didn't really hit me until, the shock of him even passing wore off. But, take that for what you will. But he, not just, our lives, but a massive impact, a massive influence on the lives of so many people across the world.
Yeah.
And
I think that's you make probably the best point is the amount of Dragon Ball Z fans who are so different, but they all love, it's just like whiskey and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we're so different, but we all love whiskey. You could be, no matter what color your skin is, what part of the town you're from, what nation you're from, what kind of music you like, anything. There's always Dragon Ball Z fans in that group of people.
And we all tried to go Super Saiyan.
Oh,
we all tried to use the Kamehameha.
I think I gave myself a hemorrhoid one time.
I remember that episode where Gohan's trying to teach Videl how to fly. He's like, well, first you have to harness your energy, your ki.
And you're like, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
Like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, it's just all those little things that we all relate to.
Yeah, I only flew once. I couldn't do it again.
Well, that was the mushrooms, but
true. But rest in power.
Rest in power, indeed, Toriyama-san.
So I was gonna just keep these things sealed, but this is probably the first. Like, they just released these, and I don't know if I've ever seen Dragon Ball Z on, like, a cereal.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
So, I'm going to open these up.
That could have been your kid's college fund someday.
Sure. Maybe Kroger still has some more. I'm not really, like, trying to make, like, an awesome pairing with this, but I wanted to do something fun. Now, look back on my Instagram, and I found the first time, like, if you go back in the archives of Whiskey Mutant, he wasn't, I started out like pairing like anime and stuff, and then I started doing snacks, and then I went back to like Anna Monday. Well, the first time I paired anything Dragon Ball related was on April 18th, 2019. I started the page in March of 2019. I paired Dragon Ball Super Brawly with Weller Special Reserve. I made a post about it.
What an interesting pairing.
Well, I said...
Oh, it's green.
It's green. I decided to have some wheat and Dragon Ball Super today, mainly because you are more likely to find 7 Dragon Balls before you find a Weller.
The man's got bars.
Yeah, look at that.
Boy's got bars.
Back in 2019, I was ahead of everybody. So, I want to open this Weller Special Reserve. We're going to give a toast to the man himself. And we're going to eat on these Reese Puff or cereal.
So we're not actually like pairing them.
Well, we can see what happens.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
These are really good.
Really good. I don't know when the last time I had Reese's Puffs were. Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs.
Peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Ooh. Cheers.
Cheers.
Solid whiskey.
Hey, that Weller stuff's pretty good, right?
I've heard it's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Oh, that pairing's not bad either.
Why does that work?
Oh, wow.
Huh. I guess it's the sweetness. Good luck with that. You get like an eyedropper out.
That's really good, actually. All right, Goku.
I mean, it complements it super, super well.
Oh, man. Well,
You know, I put these back here too. I wasn't going to draw attention to them, but I figured, why not? These manga volumes are first printings of the very first collection of Dragon Ball from 1984. And this is the final volume of the original run of Dragon Ball. First printing, both in Japanese.
crazy.
Just found them on eBay.
It's awesome.
I had to wait like 3 weeks for them to get there, though. And by that time, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. I love when you do something like that. Like, wait a second, I ordered this? Oh, man.
Sorry to get everything off on a dour note, but you and I needed to commiserate a little bit, I think. We also haven't seen each other in 2 weeks either. So we've got a lot to catch up on, and part of that is me asking you, what have you been drinking recently? Which I'm gonna reel it back in, because I think my what have I been drinking recently is going to be a lot shorter than yours is.
Go for it.
Well, I ran into Liquor Barn the other day, and I had been there the week prior.
Okay.
And the lady was like, when I went
Welcome back,
last
Perry.
week, like, we're going to set up a bed for you.
You
Just move in.
going to go to the back with me again?
Huh?
Find those good bottles.
We got some Blanton's Gold for you.
Come on back.
It's an empty barrel.
You can set me on the empty barrel.
All right. When I went the week before, they had just gotten in like their allocations of 1792. And so I was like, well, I'll get a full proof.
Yeah.
Why not? Go back the next week.
Another foolproof.
Still 1792 foolproof. And got this picture from Swan yesterday. Yesterday was also Swan's birthday.
What?
He's 29.
Oh, parthead.
He was up at the party source, I believe. just a full
shelf of
a full display
Huh.
of Weller or a Benchmark foolproof. No, not even that. 1792 foolproof. I'll put it up on screen for anybody who's watching the video version. But the bubble might be breaking.
Think so?
No. Fred put out that video the other day that was like, is the bourbon it was the bourbon bubble or bourbon boom? I don't remember, but it was like, is it ending?
Is it busted?
Yeah, I think he said it kind of has, but also kind of no. I don't know. I don't think it has yet. Do you?
Maybe it's shrunk a little bit. I don't think it's full blown busted.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
So I picked that up. We'll crack it
Nice.
here in a bit. And then I picked up one of what we opened on the pregame chats. Bad. It's real bad. I don't even want to name it.
There's way better stuff out there.
Stay tuned. We'll talk about it here in just a bit. But anyway, I mean, really nothing too special. I was kind of in a rush getting out the door to get over here, so I forgot a couple of things that I was going to bring over for you to try. So, hey, it just means we got something to look forward to next week.
Okay. I got something too, if I can get it.
Huh?
Huh?
What do you mean?
If I can get it. I can get it picked up in time.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
All right. Tell me about Disney and the many adventures that you had
All right. So,
out there.
Yes, I was at Disney this past weekend with me and my wife. This was our just adults, me and her, no kids. We will have our, before somebody says, oh, he's so selfish, he doesn't take his kids. Fuck off.
Who says that?
People.
I've never once heard that.
It's a thing. But I don't think some people don't realize that we take our kids a lot and like they've been since they were kids and all this. It's just, don't worry about them. Just don't be stupid.
Yeah, shut up. I'm on your side now.
Right. So let's see. How did my trip start? Well, it started with me packing my hotel samples, which I put in my little aged and ore. I had the Discord pick out all my bottles.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. If you join our Patreon, you also get access to our Discord as well. It's the only way that you can get access to that.
I had, in honor of our friend David Adam Levine, I took his Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye with me since he's going to be a daddy. Then I took a Knob Creek single barrel.
Nice.
It was a Wolfpack pick.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I took Old Forester Barrel Proof. And then I took the 120 proof Rebel pick.
Nice.
Like the ones that are like 120 proof. So I had those. I sip on those in the room or in the morning. Yes, I start every morning at Disney with a coffee cup with about an ounce of barrel proof to get me started. It's my tradition.
Yeah,
that's what I do. So Thursday we get there, and that's the night that we're going to Magic Kingdom at night because we have after hours and we can stay in Magic Kingdom till 1. But they don't serve alcohol other than some beer or wine in some of the restaurants there. So we went to the Polite Pig at Disney Springs and pre-gamed, where I had what I thought was a steal.
It is.
So they have flights at Polite Pig. If you've never been to Polite Pig, it's basically a big like whiskey bourbon bar that sells barbecue type food, and they have an awesome bourbon selection. There's like barrels in there. You can see like there's Buffalo Trace barrels where they pick from them and stuff. Just awesome. They make great cocktails. April always gets she gets like a a sweet tea old fashioned that they have, and they like do the barrel age where they make it and put it in there. But I usually try to get like their single barrel, like a pour, and they had a private flight, which was 3 pours of all of these are their picks. So it was a $45 for 3 ounces basically, and it was a 1792 full proof pick. It was a Blanton's single barrel pick and a Stag, quote, Stag Junior pick.
Did you have to take out a loan for that Blanton's?
No, they gave me the choice. They were going to give me money
At gunpoint?
to buy it. They were going to give me money and say, you should probably use this to give it back to us. But that Stag Junior pick was almost 138 proof. So I had a 1792 full proof, the Blantons, whatever, 90 proof, and then almost a hazmat Stag before going into Magic Kingdom.
And then April said, let's go right for the teacups.
Yes. And so good. All of these were so good.
Nice.
Even the Blantons, like, it's just a Blanton single barrel like everything, but it was just good.
Yeah.
Just solid. But that Stag pick, oh my God. Oh, I was feeling so good because I like hadn't ate or drank. Oh, wait, I skipped a whole big thing.
The airport.
The airport. Backtrack. 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm flying out of Covington / Cincinnati.
Yep.
And
Northern Kentucky
airport. And they have a bourbon bar there. It is one of the local shops there in Covington. What is it? Cork and Barrel? One of them. Hold on.
I don't remember.
Oh, please. Cork and Bottle.
There we go.
So I sat down because we were a little early, which I always get there a little early.
As you should.
As you should. And I picked 2 pours. I picked an OKI single barrel rye that was picked by, if you've heard of the store close to New Riff called Revival, it's a bottle shop that has a lot of stuff. They picked this rye.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, it was like 120 proof, like 6-year rye.
Good morning.
But what really got me going was a 12-year Blom Brothers Nodder Bourbon single barrel pick. And I can't even describe. It was the oiliest thing I'd ever had in my life. Oh my God, dude. Those Nodder, I can't even say it right now.
Careful. Remember what you were saying to me off air that I can't.
I know.
We're going to get Eric canceled, y'all.
Yes. But those Blom Brothers picks are just phenomenal. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my airport pours. I was trying to find it here. Oh, God, I put so much. If you're in the Discord, you already know what all I've done. Anyway, so I had the flight, went to Magic Kingdom. Awesome. Next day, resort day. No parks. Resort hopping everywhere. Woke up, had some Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. Then we proceeded to go get some beignets. Beignets all day. And then we got on the monorail and we went to the Enchanted Rose, which is like a Beauty and the Beast type theme sitting area bar in the Grand Floridian. Had a old fashioned there. Very good. Then we put our name down at Trader Sam's, which is the tiki bar at the Polynesian that you have to put your name down like 2 hours ahead of time. And you go in there and it's all dark. The whole room is themed. And a lot of the drinks, when people order them, it does stuff to the room. Like you could order this thing called the Pearl, and there's a big oyster, and then like we got a pearl, and it like comes out, and it's a big show and stuff like that. And so me and April got to sit at the bar, which was fun because sometimes they sit you at like a table with somebody else. It's fine, I don't care, but I was like, I always want to sit at the bar because I'm talking to the bartenders and stuff. We got to talk to the bartenders, and I just got like they have all these crazy drinks, but at the end of the day, they're kind of like LITs or margaritas and stuff like that. But they're always good. But I have to tell you, I didn't like put this in the Discord or told you or anything because I was like, I have to save this for the show. So I'm sitting there. Me and April are just having our cocktails. We had like 2 or 3 of those. And there's this guy sitting beside me. I'm going to try to describe him. But all you have to know is like this dude looks like a American man. And he is, American flag. And like he don't understand stuff. He doesn't get humor. You know what I mean? He's not all about this fun stuff.
Yeah. He was dragged to Disney by somebody else who was a bigger Disney fan than he maybe ever will be in his entire life.
Yes. So the bartender was awesome. He was this guy. He was joking the whole time. We were talking about bourbon and like it was fun. And this guy sits down and he's like, "Oh, sir, what do you like?" He's like, "I'm a rum drinker." He's like, "Okay, we got some good rums up here." And so they were talking about rum and all of that. And so he's like, he pours in rum neat and he goes, the guy goes, "You know what? Add an ice cube or two just to kind of chill it out a little bit. I want to take the edge off." And the guy goes, "You want to take the edge off of that rum?" And because I think it was like a low proof rum anyway. He was like, "Yeah. Yeah, what's wrong with that?" The bartender didn't say anything, and he took a flower, and he stuck a little flower in the rum, and he's like, "This'll work. That'll take." He said that'll take the edge off. And I kept watching to see if he eventually would do it. He never once put water or an ice cube in his drink, and that guy had to sit there and drink that with a flower in it. It was the best thing I'd ever seen. It was so good.
I am simultaneously shook, and I have a new hero.
Put that flower in there, didn't say a word, and just kept bartending. Oh, it was amazing.
I just bartenders are their own breed of people, man.
But this is like
good bartenders are.
But he's living the theme of the bar. Like they joke and they make fun and they do all this stuff. And he straight up never got an ice cube in his thing. Laid a flower in there, kept bartending. Amazing.
So was it in like a rocks glass? Was it in
okay,
I didn't know if it was in like a Glencairn or something.
It was in a rocks glass, like a small rocks glass. Yeah. And the guy just
so funny.
And the guy didn't say a word after that. He just kept kind of like wondering like what's happening right now, and he would sip a little bit on his rum, and then he would like turn around and just look around at the room, and never said a word after that. So good.
I hope he tipped. I know he didn't, but I really hope he did. You always tip. You never know what's going on with people. Just tip. That's my high proof hot take early. Tip.
It was so good. We had you got to imagine by this time, it's getting a little bit later and we've been drinking all day. Mm-hmm. And I did end the night with, I had to get Knob Creek Single Barrel Parks and Resorts. Anytime, I know you've heard me say this, but if you're at a Disney resort, Polynesian, Riverside, anywhere, ask for the Knob Creek Single Barrel pick because they will usually have it, and it's always so good. Next day, once again, I think I had the Old Forester Barrel Proof this time. Rope dropped into Hollywood Studios. Got a couple of rides in, Rise of the Resistance, all the Star Wars stuff, and got me a Mutant Brew. If you don't know what the Mutant Brew is, it's a Joffrey's cold brew, shaken Jamaican, and instead of adding like a sweet cream to it, you change the cream to Bailey's, and then you add a shot of whiskey to it. They had they usually either have Tillings or maybe like Jameson or something like that. Put it in there, you're good to go. Thank me later.
So, what was I about to ask you? No, never mind. Keep talking.
Okay. So we did half the day in Hollywood. Right before we left, we had our reservation at Olga's Cantina, which is the Star Wars themed bar, where we got fuzzy tauntaun. I got some jet juice. The jet juice is like a Maker's Mark type pepper cocktail. April always gets a fuzzy tauntaun. It's kind of like a lemon style drink, and they put this like foam on it that makes your like mouth tingle. So it's like the description on the menu is like, you know, some people can't handle this. You may be allergic to like this type of stuff.
Right.
So it does. It makes your lips tingle a little bit. It's good. Then we headed over to Epcot, where started eating around the world, rode all the rides. It was Flower and Garden Festival, so they had a lot of good food. I had a little sake cocktail from Japan, which was great.
Nice.
But the highlight of Epcot drinking to me is, I'm wearing the hat right now, La Cava del Tequila. This is the tequila bar inside the pyramid in Mexico. Everybody always, like, maybe you stop on the outside, grab a margarita. Don't do that. Go inside. You may have to wait in line, but it's worth it. It's worth it. This is a legit like tequila bar, and all their margaritas and everything are so authentic. And we got to actually sit down this time because there was a table. Sometimes you just go to the bar, grab a drink, and you're done. We sat down. I had the corn old fashioned, which I always get. It's amazing. And I always get to try like a couple different margaritas because April always gets like a normal margarita. They had a margarita that they made specifically with the tequila that they like, their brand of tequila. They just have like their own thing now. And apparently all the bartenders had a contest to see who can make the best margarita with it. And the winner got to put theirs on the menu. And so this one was just, I would have to, what is their brand? Their tequila brand. But it's just so fun in there. And I met these old people beside me that were from Buffalo, and we talked about the Bills. Ojo de Tigre? Mezcal?
Oh, it's a mezcal. It's not actually a tequila. Interesting.
Oh, but that's the brand, I believe, that they like.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was the...
that means tiger eye.
Yeah.
Or eye of the tiger
on the bottle. That's it then.
Ojo del tigre.
And I had like 3 corn old fashions. And then the rest of Epcot is kind of a blur.
Yo. Can you buy it online?
Yeah, that's it.
No friggin' way, dude.
They had something to do with that brand because when they brought it into the bar, they all had that contest to see what kind of margarita they would make out of it, and that's the one that won.
We could not find this item in Lexington, Kentucky, but we did find it in Brentwood, Missouri.
Missouri represent.
Spirits are not they are eligible for shipment. What are you talking about?
But I think I had a beer after that because I was just done.
Did you have a cerveza cristal?
Oh my God, I wish. But
look, I'm trying to source some cerveza cristal so that we can review it on the podcast. I gotta know what it is. If you don't know the meme, it's okay. I've linked it in the description below. It is the funniest thing I have seen in so long, and it is so just memeable in general. Like it can be translated into so many different instances. Oh, it's so good. Anyway.
But yeah, that was pretty much a wrap on the trip. We came home the next day, and I continued to de-bloat until today, basically. Well, actually, I had an old fashioned in the midweek because I had to de-stress about something. Yeah. But yeah, that was a trip. And like I said, I know a lot of people will message me and ask me like, "What do you get when you go to Disney?" Don't be afraid to like ask me. Like I love.
Oh yeah.
Like you see how much fun I have like talking about bourbon and stuff. Like I have just as much fun planning and talking about Disney stuff. Like I love it. I'm always up to talk about it and give suggestions and all that stuff. So
is WDW today still running?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Okay.
Yeah. They just put out an episode the other day.
I haven't listened to it in years.
I don't think Will and them are on it.
Sorry, guys.
That much.
Yeah. Well, Grease has got all his stuff.
Yeah. But they still put out episodes.
Okay. Well, cool. This is My Bourbon Podcast. Is brought to you by Monkey Colt. Coffee Co.
Just had some. Feeling good.
You scared me. You didn't tell me that's how you were going to do the ad read.
I just love Monkey Colt coffee.
I really do too. Honestly, it is the evolution of flavor infusion in your coffee. They have a wonderful line. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough there in the middle of that ad. So professional.
You get choked up when you just talk about something so good.
When I'm thinking about it, yes. Made from specialty grade 100% Arabica coffee beans and are completely keto friendly. When you open the bag, you can actually smell the difference between our coffee and the Pretenders. I think that, to me, Eric, is what really stands out, that they're not playing on the gimmick of flavored coffee.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually...
We just, we tried some other stuff recently that tastes straight up fake.
Kind of made me want to throw up.
Yes.
But not Monkey Colt Coffee Co.
Never.
The blend that we've been drinking on is the bourbon chocolate chip. They also have toasted coconut rum and golden honey agave, available over at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And hey, are you interested in trying them? Well, that's great, because you can use the code MyBourbonPod10, that's MyBourbonPod10 at checkout for 10% off your orders.
Yeah, I joined the cult. You should too.
Follow the link in the description. That is our affiliate link. That's how they know we sent you. Use that code. Thank you, Monkey Colt Coffee Co., for sponsoring the show. And now, back to you boys. Folks, I'm very excited to be welcoming back to the show one of the co-founders, co-owners, former Navy pilot as well, of Old Line Spirit. I guess I should have said which you are a co-founder and co-owner of before I went into your other accreditations. But very excited to be welcoming to the podcast for the first time. But this is not the first time that Mark and I have talked before. He was on an episode of 10 Bip Live over on the YouTube channel. But Mark McLaughlin, welcome back to the show, man. How are you?
Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be here. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well. I was I was pouring these up, and I'd been talking back and forth with Tracy over at Estes about getting you on, and I as I was getting these sample bottles out, I looked at the logo, and I'm a graphic designer, and logos really stick with me. And I did not realize until I looked at the logo that we had indeed talked before. And so when I was messaging back and forth with Tracy, I was like, oh, I've not had anything from Old Line. It'd be really cool to have Mark on. And then it just like hit me, and I was like, oh, God, I'm the worst. And
No, not at all. I tell you, I can. It's there's so many brands out there. It's hard to keep straight. No,
yeah.
I get it.
I wanted to say that up front, and I apologize, but I refreshed myself as well and went back and listened to a little bit of the live stream that we did back in January of 23. I've since moved. My daughter has turned 3 since then. It's been a very hectic past 12 plus months. So where are you in life currently? What is your current trajectory of things? What's new for you?
For Old Line in general, so since we last spoke, I think I'll kind of start from the top for people who aren't as too familiar with us. That Old Line,
yeah, sure.
Maryland, and we make several lines of spirits, but the one that we built the company around and the one that's most kind of near and dear to us is our American single malt whiskey, which we'll be going through some of those here shortly. We also have a really nice line of rums, a blend that we import from the Dominican Republic, a barrel-aged rum that we love, and a little bit of vodka that we do locally, but not really beyond the local market. But really, ASM that's our bread and butter. And so, we got our start, as you may remember, from taking over a small distillery that was owned by two gentlemen on the West Coast that were Vietnam veterans, and Arch and I are Iraq, Afghanistan guys. So yada, yada, yada. We liked them. They liked us. They were looking to sell their business. We were looking to get into the business, apprenticed, and basically did an asset purchase and bought their business when they retired. So that's all been relocated back to Baltimore, and now we make it both here in Baltimore, and also we do some distillation with Middle West Spirits in Columbus, Ohio, which is great. Those guys are awesome. So that's kind of where we are in the world for those who are brand new to us. And our goal and what we think we succeed in doing is making a single malt whiskey definitively for the American whiskey drinkers palate. Understanding that there's a very wide range of palates in America, but generally speaking, if a bourbon, we came up as bourbon drinkers. We actually sat out originally to make bourbon and rye. We love both categories very, very much. So that's originally kind of what had our palate styled in, was an American style, and we're Americans. And so we wanted to make a single malt that was that embraced all the things we love about malted barley, but delivered it in a package that other bourbon lovers would love as well. So as far as what's changed since January last year, I'm trying to remember exactly when we rolled it out, but this probably happened since we talked. Was that Old Line, like a lot of smaller companies, started off doing a combination of larger traditional size barrels, the 53-gallon ASBs, and also some smaller barrels, which as I'm sure can accelerate some of the aging process. It isn't
Right.
one-to-one whatsoever. So we did some smaller barrels along the way. We got rid of the real small ones years ago, but up until not long ago, we were actually emptying mostly 30-gallon barrels, which were actually wonderful. Those were we still choose to do some of those because we love the profile.
Sure.
But we've transitioned most of the profile since we last spoke to our the product coming out of our 53-gallon ASBs, anywhere from 4 to 8 years is kind of our sweet spot. So that's been the big, on the production side, change for us. We're still really just fighting the good fight on the marketing and sales side to, that American single malt is out there. It's growing rapidly, and really just fighting for our share of attention.
Remind me too, with your with the single malts, are you using first use casks?
Yes, we are, absolutely. I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because I didn't really touch on that at the beginning. Was absolutely. So for us, a big part of what makes our profile that American style is that we are, to your point, using almost entirely number 4 char virgin American oak. So just like a lot of bourbons would do. And then our malts, with the exception of a very tiny bit that goes into a peated malt, everything that we put out on the shelf, with minor exception, is all non-peated malts as well.
Gotcha. When you were, and because I imagine that there was some kind of like learning curve adjustment to when you were figuring out the best way to make your single malts. What was one of the biggest things that you learned, especially in comparison to, say, aging bourbon or aging rye, when you were looking at that single malt? What really stuck out to you is like, oh, I wasn't expecting this to be a major point of contention?
That's a really good question, and I'll try to answer it from a couple of angles. I'd say that for just learning in general, we came into this not knowing how to distill anything, right? So the first thing we learned was how to distill ASM from Bob and Jim, our forebears. And I think that one of the first things that struck me is just the wide range of flavors that you can get from malted barley. And I say this with no disrespect to form, because I deeply love bourbon. But the ability to take a grain, in this case barley, and go to a malt house and process it any number of ways, where the same 2 identical kernels of grain come out tasting very, very different just by the way that they were malted. So that, I think, is really exciting, that it gives us such a wide range of flavors. I'd say the biggest, one of the bigger challenges we had, is that we produce almost everything, like I said, in the American style, and that goes beyond the barrel aging and being non-peated. It also goes into things like, and not to get too nerdy, but like whether we do a grain on fermentation or grain off. You know, for the bourbon world, usually it's grain off.
Get nerdy, man. Get nerdy with it.
No worries. Yeah, I'll get nerdy. I'm not the ops guy. You know, it's Arch and Jared. They could really get nerdy. I can get like mildly nerdy and not.
Sure.
So we used to do what Bob and Jim taught us to do was a traditional kind of single malt approach, which is a lautered / grain off fermentation. So we would, mash in the grain. The grain would be cracked open essentially, but it wouldn't be fully ground down to a really fine powder or anything. And after the mash, we'd drain out the sugary liquid, and we would leave behind the grain, and that grain would go off to a farm for feed or whatever. And that's and the lautering part is where we put after we empty that out, we dump some more fresh water on top of that grain to kind of squeeze out the last sugars. That's called lautering. So that fermentation would be grain off. And the reason a lot of Scotch distilleries, as I understand it, do that, one of the reasons is that if you're not careful, there are scenarios where having the protein and the husks in the fermentation can give you a bitterness that may or may not be what you want.
Interesting.
So we were doing it that way, which is a lot more labor intensive. And then we started producing, when we moved from the West Coast to Baltimore, and in the interim, we also started producing out of Middle West. Those guys, the way I kind of describe it is Bob and Jim, it was like your grandmother teaching you to make a cake. Like, here's step 1, step 2, step last. And if you do this way, what's going to come out. But they weren't chemists. They didn't want to be. They weren't, this is just like a hobby business. But the guys in Middle West, they are absolute pros. And they are dial in, what we were doing. So that is to say that after a couple of rounds of doing that on a much larger scale at Middle West, they said, hey guys, let's try this a couple of times doing it with a finer grist. We'll do and we're not going to lauter, and we're going to let the grain go all the way through distillation the way we do bourbon, and let's just see what happens. And we found that our yields went up, and the quality did not suffer one bit. So that was a bit of a long answer to your question, but we thank God every day for the Middle West guys, not only for the partnership and able to put barrels away at a much higher rate than we can afford to here on our equipment, but just because of all the learning we had out there.
Was there any discernible, noticeable shift in the flavor profile when you altered the distillation process?
Yes, absolutely. Like I wish you could see right now. Like it's kind of around the corner for me, but our original still was it's 60 gallon. It was open flame heated. It literally sat on a griddle you cook burgers on. This just sat on top of like a restaurant type griddle. It was a disaster waiting to happen.
No kidding. Yeah.
But, and it was it just temperature control was crazy, right? Because you had to turn the knobs, and then the stainless steel had to heat up, and then the copper had to heat up, and then the liquid. By the time you realized you were out of balance, you were already way behind. So all that is to say that a lot of times it would be very easy on that system if you weren't like hawking it every second for the temperature to get a little too high. So all of a sudden you're now boiling off things with a higher boiling point, like the tails of a run are almost like coming off a little too soon. So we found that, it was really hard to keep that in balance. So in doing so, tails, I think, kind of get a bad rap. Like they're, one man's tails is another man's treasure is kind of one way to look at it. So what I want in my whiskey and you want yours might be different. So tails can give you really like buttery, oily mouthfeel and things like that. Just if you have too much of them, you're going to get that wet paper bag, stuff you don't want. So all that is to say that Bob and Jim stuff was a bit more tailsy than ours. And I think that was partly because of what I just mentioned, and partly is that's just the style they liked. So when we moved over to Middle West, we deliberately changed the process to be a little bit crisper, a little cleaner. I won't say better because they're both wonderful. It's just more the style that we wanted. Does that answer your question?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. I'd like to also get into some of these products that I was very fortunate enough to have been sent. You suggested we start with the flagship 95. I think this is the one that I was sent initially last January, if I remember correctly. So this is kind of revisiting it for me. But this is the
one. We had one of a similar label that used to be 86 proof when we bumped it up to 95. So you may have. I'm not trying to think January last year which one would have been out, but it may be a revisit or it may be a little bit different.
Yeah. So talk to me about this product as it is the foundation for Old Line. How did you all land on this particular profile for your single malt?
So yeah, the flagship. So the flavor profile. So we adjusted. I think I hinted or talked about it a little bit before. We kind of moved away largely from the 30-gallon barrels into the 53s. It was really, we did a couple of things at the same time. This is probably going to over-answer your question, but we knew that the flavor profile was going to jump in a great direction. It's, each time we make these changes, it gets better and better. We also knew that we wanted to do some updates to the branding a little bit, just to freshen it up a bit. So we thought, hey, why not do them at the same time? And we also wanted to adjust the proof upward, because we found that 86, our old proof for our flagship product, was great. We loved it, but we thought that there was more complexity and flavor to be delivered with really no compromise on drinkability. So we wanted all three of those things to happen, and we figured, well, let's just do them all at the same time. So really, what it came down to was for the what stock we had available, which at the time was, I think the oldest we had was a 6 or 7 year old. What we had available, and one thing that we always kind of assumed, which we ended up not doing, was that we would find this kind of optimal age to say, hey, our flagship product is going to be, always between 4 and 5, or between 5 and 6, or whatever it might be. And we messed around with a bunch of different things based on just being curious to see what different ages blended together would taste like, and also based on the reality of, we had this range of barrels of these ages. Operationally, it would be nice if we could use a portion of each. And we found that, kind of to my surprise, actually, that having a blend anchored in the 4 to 5 year old range with an addition of a meaningful amount of up to 8, it fit our operational needs, and it fit our flavor profile very, very well. The 4s to 5s, to me, generally will be a little more fruity. By fruity, I think of like sometimes it's dark cherry, like chocolate covered cherry. Sometimes it's like nectarine on certain barrels to me. Like once in a while, a barrel will taste like a 4 or 5 year old barrel will taste almost like peach iced tea to me. And then the 6, 7, 8s are going to be more caramel heavy, more baking spice. So all those things kind of. So we found that a blend of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 works really well for us. And the proof, we knew we wanted to go up from 86, and the question was really, where, how far? So we looked at it as saying, hey, we don't want to go below 86, so we could stay at 86, we can go up to 100. Obviously, we can go higher, but that goes into a different product line. So where do we want that to be? And we do a lot of things at 100, including our bottled and bond, which, as you know, has to be at 100. So it was more like 86 to 97, 98 was really the range we were going to work with. So we just took samples. We found that dialed in the blend, the age profile that we liked, and we took samples at I guess it was like 86, 90, 92.5, 95, 97.5, and we all ended up on 95 being our favorite. So all those things kind of happened at the same time, and I think we nailed it. I think it came out really, really good.
Did you have a proof in mind, or kind of a goal you were hoping the product would land at?
Yeah, north of 90. I wanted a 90 or above, just for. It just seemed to me that's just kind of like how do I put it? It just, I feel like that's what the varsity players play. So I wanted to. And there are great whiskeys in the 80s. I don't want to come across.
Of course.
To me, it kind of felt like, okay, this is really what we want to be punching our our weight class there.
Yeah, legitimizing your own your own journey. This is it really does hit on what you were saying about trying to appeal to the American whiskey drinkers. I mean, it is very kind of bourbon presenting in many ways, but it does have this kind of like softness to it. That is very, very approachable, and I mean that it's not soft in like a negative way by any means. It's just there is a gentleness to it where I'm like, oh, I can see why they would want to approach this, or you use this as an approach for bourbon drinkers, and it's really well rounded. I'm quite a fan of it so far. Yeah, of course.
I appreciate that. It's a pleasure to hear that. It's one thing that we looked at this when we started the business. Like I said, we were looking at bourbon and rye, but when we saw that American single malt via the opportunity we had was going to be our path. We loved it. Really it was a big thing of what do we want to be? We as Old Line and also we as a category. Do we want to, recreate Scotch in America? Well, that seems like, you're tilting at windmills there. Scotch has been doing Scotch for a long time. They do it really well.
Sure.
We want to recreate bourbon? Well, no, same reason. Bourbon's been doing their thing for a long time and it's been done really well. And, you're also going to cost way more money using malted barley. So we wanted to be something that truly married what we felt were our favorite parts of those two categories into something that would appeal very broadly.
Now, the next one we've got is the Navy 114, which, that is really starting to, as far as proof goes, that's really starting to hit my sweet spot for sure. I'm a proof hound, as they say. So when this product was coming about, was it just kind of a natural progression for you all? You thought you needed something in the higher proof range, or what? How did this one come about for you?
I'm pouring some right now for myself. So we originally, I mentioned earlier that our white label went from 86 to 95, and same time we had we have our blue label, which now is what we're sipping now, the Navy Strength, which I did a really bad job of that in the camera.
You're doing great, Mark. You're doing great.
I kind of button my shirt in the mirror. So
does it help or not? I've never been able to,
For me, I guess not. Yeah. So we used to have a blue label as a cask strength, which is a great product. We loved it, and we moved it to 114 from 123, 4, or 5, where it came out of cask strength. Not because we didn't want to have a cask strength offering, because we do and we still do have one. But a couple of things. One, we had always wanted to have, or for a long time, we wanted to have a single barrel cask strength program. So we didn't want to have regular kind of batch cask strength and then single barrel. For us, we wanted to have just one. So we took the opportunity to have this kind of black label single barrel program, which is now there. We had the white label at 95. And then Arch and I found that when we were drinking our cask strength, he and I almost always threw a cube in it. It's just, some people don't like to do that. We do. So we kind of figured, we're probably drinking this in the 1-teens anyway. We're Navy guys. The brand, Navy Strength is on brand. Not very many people do it in whiskey. And I'm sure there are some others doing it. I know there's like Old Grandad 114, but they don't use the term Navy Strength. So it seemed like an opportunity to put the product in a great part of the proof profile that we love, to tie into our brand and to make room in our portfolio for that, single barrel cask strength.
I think I might have mentioned this when I had you on the live stream, but my grandfather also served in the Navy, and he would always. I could never really tell if he was being sincere or not about it because his personality was so jovial, but he would always joke about drinking torpedo juice, and. I was like, first of all, it sounds like it would have killed you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the man had dementia, so I don't know. I'm not saying there's a corollary there, but I'm not going to rule it out. But please pull back the curtain. Is there any?
I don't. Certainly in like today's Navy, that's not going on. Well, I've never been on a submarine, but I can only imagine it's not. But I think those rumors and jokes exist for a reason. That back in the day,
sure.
These things were powered off of high proof alcohol. So I think it certainly has happened. Whether he did it or not, and pulling your leg, I don't know. Yeah. So as far as torpedo juice, I guess maybe we gotta find an old torpedo and just give it a go.
We're in the market. If anybody knows, please let us know. We're gonna try to anyway. That'd be a good single barrel name, torpedo juice, for a good high proof.
Actually, I agree.
If we ever are fortunate enough to do a single barrel with y'all, it'll be torpedo juice.
I love it. I love it.
It's speaking of torpedo juice as well. This isn't gonna kill me or anything, but the 114 proof, I really do like that increase from the 95. I think that it's naturally, of course, it's going to be bolder, hopefully, but in this case, it really does wonders for showcasing just how big and like full of character this whiskey is. What's the I hate to actually like get too in the weeds about things, but as far as like price goes with these as well, what is the MSRP on these first two?
So on the first one is $44.99, and then on this one $54.99 for the 114. So we try to keep everything in the range of where bourbon drinkers, typically like to shop. Even though malts cost more to make, we kind of make an effort to keep our stuff a little lower than other malt whiskeys. And also, given that so many bourbons that up until 5, 6, 7 years ago were in that range and were readily available, now they've either gone up or they're allocated. We're trying to put us in a position to fill that help fill that void. That I think is a great price point for whiskey. I mean, I think that 45 to 65 range for us and what we do, I think is perfect. And occasionally, will we have something in the hundreds someday, maybe, but we're not in a rush. I mean, we don't want to do that when it really is truly deserving of that, not just because we can. So we try to keep things where we would want to spend our money.
Right. Makes sense to me, man. And I appreciate that too. All right, moving on to the Madeira cask. Finishing, of course, in whiskey it's nothing new. A lot of people, my co-host included, are kind of over it in a way, especially with these. And I think really what set a lot of people off, or at least made them wary of finishing, was the introduction and overabundance of Amburana. On so many.
The other day.
So I feel like I need to ask: are y'all doing an Amburana finished?
So we're not planning. We have one in the building, but it's for a person that we know who she basically bought a barrel of ours and then said, hey, she gave us Amburana inserts that she wanted us to put in, and we kind of left it with, hey, we don't know where this is going to go, but she wanted it, so that's going just to her. Other than that, no, we don't. We are considering having a little bit for blending, but Amburana, to your point about finishes being, I don't know if you use the word overdone, but I'll use that word. It can be. I feel like it's kind of jumping the shark, what's the craziest, weirdest thing people can do? And I don't know that that's a good thing. I mean, look at like the beer world. I mean, I love craft beer, but by necessity, I feel like so many of those guys are just trying to outdo the other on something weird and funky. And that's a heavy burden to grow a business by always having to do something new. So we focus a little bit more on the fundamentals, I think. We do finishes. We've done a lot of them, but really a lot. We've done maybe 6, 7. That's not a lot, I guess. But we're trying to figure out which ones work the best for us on standalones, and then which ones work the best for us for blending. But we're not, we're actually at the point now where we're actually limiting our scope to the ones that really work, and kind of saying goodbye to some that tasted good but really weren't marketable. So,
well, I think that to your point about essentially having to kind of like keep up, right? I think that there are two ways of approaching it, really, and it's either forging your own path or playing copycat with what everybody else is doing. And I think that it's so much more interesting to me to do your own thing. And I think when if you had jumped in head first, completely blind, and just put out an Amburana product that when everybody else was doing it too, that would have been one thing. But you have the good fortune of seeing that people are getting tired of it, and that maybe that's not the way that you want to you want to approach it.
It's a tough thing, right? Like there's a combination of we're never going to put anything out that we don't think is good, because that's our name. But it's going to be good and marketable. And Amburana, I think there might be some blending opportunities there, like cigar blends and things like that.
Sure.
But on its own, to me, it's too much. It reminds me, I'm the only person who thinks this, so it's probably off, but it reminds me when I smell an Amburana finish, depends on which one, but my uncle had this old Jeep that he used to drive up
Oh,
to
wow.
New Hampshire, and he used to smoke a pipe. So this like smell of like residual sweet pipe tobacco, and they had this German Shepherd, so it just smelled like man. You know what I mean? It was just like Jeep, giant dog, pipe tobacco. And
You're not the only one.
Oh,
You're
really?
not the only one. Yeah, no. Eric, my co-host, thinks that it, and I couldn't get it out of my head after he brought it up, but he said it smells like old man cologne too.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
maybe there's something there. Our brains are going to the same place somehow.
Definitely. So this is the Madeira cask finished. Run me through some of the details on this. All the info I have is just Madeira cask.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's that's right, because it's the sample bottle there. It's gonna be hard to see, but the details you can see on the back of these things, we typically put kind of all the nerdy data that people might want. So this particular one that we're sipping on, it was the primary product is the American single malt aged in virgin oak. This was, let's see, 5 year juice that went from the virgin oak barrel. And then the barrels that were put into this product were 19 to 25 months in finishing.
Wow.
So it's a good long finishing period for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes there's just operational necessity. There's only so much stainless steel to empty things, but we also monitor these things as they go. So if they're starting to get to a point where we feel this needs to get out, then we pull it out. But Madeira has been one of my favorites. I think one of Arch's favorites too. It's just that raisiny, oxidative character. I think just goes really, really nice. Sometimes there's a bit of, I hesitate to say smokiness because I don't like to use that term because I know that people hear malt and smoke and they think peat bombs. And That's not all what this is about, or not even close, but there is a little hint of kind of earthy smokiness that I think is nice. So, yeah.
I think so too. I haven't gotten to tasting it just yet. But definitely on the note. And it's so funny that we're talking about old man smell. But I get this feeling of like being in an old library when I smell it, just kind of that like surrounded by leather and
rich and fragrant and absolutely. Yeah. This is one of my favorite finishes. Moscatel has been one of my favorites, and our Pedro Jimenez PX Sherry that we just released. I loved the Oloroso sherry we used to do, but we still do it. We still have more coming.
Sure.
But the PX really hit the nail on the head for me.
This is spectacular.
Thank you.
I am a big fan of that. Oh my goodness. What's the proof on it?
100.
100 proof.
Yep. For everything we do isn't the 95 or the 114 or a barrel strength offering. Typically we end up at 100 it's hard to go wrong at 100. So that's kind of our default.
Sure. Yeah. It really drinks above the 100 weight class. I mean, oh my gosh. The finish, man. I took a sip of it a minute ago and the finish is still just like rolling through on, oh my gosh. All right. I'm putting this one away for a rainy day.
Nice. Glad you like it.
Really, really enjoying that. And our last one here is the Rum Navy Strength. This one I'm guessing is also 114 proof.
It is. Yeah. So it is. And we've had this for quite a while. We recently, but 2 years ago, rebranded our rum and our vodka under what's called the Case One brand. Case One is a naval aviation term for ideal flying conditions at the aircraft carrier. So for us, we like the sound of it, although most people won't know what that means. But for us, we like the sound of it, and it just kind of ties into a little bit more of a lighthearted kind of good weather feel. And the rum is a blend that we've been doing with, we have a husband and wife team named Luis and Margaret Ayala down in Texas. And we've known them almost the entirety of the time we've been doing Old Line. And one of our former board members, who unfortunately passed away, but our board member Richard introduced us to Margaret and Luis years ago, and what they helped us do was develop our own blend of Caribbean rum, in this case from the Dominican Republic. So they have access to stores of rum down there at a big blending warehouse that aggregates barrels from different producers that are excess, and we can send Margaret and Luis can go down there, buy them on our behalf, import them, blend them to meet that spec that we've developed, and then ship it to us. So some of it we proof and bottle here, and some of it we put into barrels and age further up here to go even longer. So this is a minimum of 7 years old, up to 11 years old. So then a lot of times in the rum world, the age statements are a little bit squirrely in that, unlike the whiskey world where it's the youngest drop of liquid is what you call your whiskey.
Right.
In the rum world, you'll often see a 15-year might be some 15, but also some 10. So
Sure.
We do it the whiskey way, which is the lowest drop in there. And we love it. It's no coloring, no flavoring. The only thing that we add to it at the very end is a tiny bit of just regular granulated sugar. Which is
just for anybody who's watching the video version of the podcast, showing you at least the difference between the rum and, say, the Madeira finish, which, it's not apples to apples, but it is definitely noticeably lighter. But it's not lighter on flavor. I mentally had not prepared myself to take the left turn onto Rum Street. But here we are, and holy moly, man.
Great rum. And earlier I mentioned how with the single malt, we wanted to make a single malt whiskey for the American whiskey drinker. In a similar vein, we wanted this to be a whiskey drinker's rum. And we found that it just blows people's mind because, as an example, if you had, let's say you came into Old Line and you never heard of us before, you came in on a Saturday for a tour and a tasting. I'm guessing if I gave you a little survey at the beginning and said, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the worst thing ever, 10 being the best thing ever, where do you expect to find, what do you think that you're going to rate the whiskeys and the rums? And I think most people would probably say, hey, whiskey, I never heard of these guys. They're new. Call it a 5, maybe right in the middle. And the rum, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't like rum, put a 2. I think we deliver at a 8+, 8 or 9, I hope. So we're over delivering on both expectations, but we're just the delta between expectation and delivery on the rum is so great for some people that didn't know. They don't ever tried things like Captain Morgan, and which is a totally well-made product. It serves a very important purpose in the market, but it's just not what we do. So they haven't tried these things. And what we hope is that people try it. Obviously, we hope they like it. And also that this opens their mind to the fact that there are so many other amazing Caribbean rums out there that many Americans have not been exposed to. So we hope this is we hope they come back to us sometimes, but we also hope they go and explore others as well.
I think too that you're almost like fighting the good fight in this. I feel like we're in this long battle of like reclaiming spirits that people had negative experiences with, in college or high school or whatever. Drink responsibly. But even talking about like, wild turkey, people are like, I can't drink wild turkey. I got sick on it in college, and, rum. Oh, that's only for, beach drinks or whatever. But yeah, the consistent, I feel like, proclamation that rum continues to make of we are valid as a spirit to be consumed outside of cocktails.
Sure.
And it's still, I think, an ongoing, it's an ongoing fight for rum. But I mean, this truly is an excellent product.
I appreciate that. We're very proud of it. And to your point, or even like for cocktails, like, one of our former employees, still a good friend of mine, we were out at a bar one time, and he was a bartender by trade. And he said, we're sitting having a drink. He's like, you want a daiquiri? And I thought he was joking because I'd only experienced daiquiris as the things on Bourbon Street that give you a nasty hangover. So I'm like, no, I don't want a daiquiri. He's like, why do you say it like that? And he's like, I had a real one. I'm like, well, I guess not. So I tried one, and I was blown away by how good it was. And just a combination of rum, a little simple syrup, and a little fresh lime, and some bitters, and it was wonderful. And it's just amazing what a good rum can do. But to your point, sipping, and there's just so much you can do with a good rum. And it's as far as categories with breadth of flavors, it's got to be, in my opinion, one of the greatest. You think of certain like rum agricoles from the former French colonies that'll be a little more funky and typically clear, funky rums. And then you have things like ours that are going to be a little more like molassesy, rich and sweet. And they're all in the same category. They're just, it's just a really wide range of flavors that the category delivers.
And I forgot to ask on the Madeira finish. So prices on these two as well?
Sure. Yeah. So the Double Oak, as we call our finish series, Double Oak series, they to date have all come in at $64.99 as a target. And then the Navy Strength rum is $39.99.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the rum is very. We try to keep our prices reasonable for everything, and the rum in particular. Our margins are just fine. I think because it is the quality it is and the age it is, we could certainly charge more and probably get it. But our margins are fine. We're happy with what we're making on it, so we keep it right at the price point where it's accessible.
Mark, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and guiding me along through this tasting, but also talking about some of your all's products. Where can folks find you guys if they want to learn more or if they want to follow up with you after the podcast? I appreciate
it. Yeah, so we're here in Baltimore City, so people can always come by and check it out. You can find everything you need to know at oldlinespirits.com. Also on Instagram and Facebook and things like that at Old Line Spirits. As far as where we can be found on the shelf, Maryland, DC, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. The farther you get from Baltimore, other states, the less robust our distribution is. But what we just rolled out last fall is we have the ability to deliver product to 40 states now via a partner we have. So if people go to our website and decide they want to poke around, right on there you can buy a bottle. And it'll take you right through that process right there on the website. And it's great. So we can really get this to most of the country with the exception of a few states. So, yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. Mark, Thank you again.
Thanks, Barry. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again. And thank you for your time.
Good to see you too, buddy.
Thanks.
Eric, as we get into barrel rings, how would you like to pop
lock and drop it?
Pop Chicka Wow Wow bottle.
Ooh, in mid-episode Pop Chicka Wow Wow.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to do the whole Patreon thing that we normally. Yeah, it goes on for a long time. But
let's pop a bottle. Stick on for the rest of the show.
This is we actually bought this
a collaboration bottle.
We split this on the tail end of recording 2 weeks ago. I got an email from Sip Whiskey saying that they had Elijah Craig 18 in stock, single barrel. And so Eric and I were like, well, might as well split it.
Why not?
We it got to me like yesterday. So
that took a while, huh?
Yeah, it really did.
Pop Chicka Wow Wow. Do the honors?
I'd be happy to.
Oh.
Wow. I've never.
Wow.
It didn't pop. I didn't cut anything out. It didn't pop at all.
She's a silent one.
That's never happened. We're not doing it.
Oh, sorry.
Come back to me.
Okay, sorry. It's not Patreon anymore.
Anyway, we are moving into barrel rings. Are you going to pour for me?
Yeah.
What? You're very sweet. Which is the segment of the show that you can actually be a part of if you call or text the phone number 859-428-8253. That number one more time is 859-428-8253. If you call and leave a voicemail, or if you text it, we will read it out or listen to it out.
Listen to it out.
Yeah, here on the show.
This is barrel 6553.
That's pretty close to 858-428-8253. There we go.
6553.
I had to go through the whole daggum phone number to remember the end of it.
Bottled 9/18/23. I wasn't lying. I'm telling the truth.
September 18th.
I'm telling the truth.
I believe you. So it was barreled in 2005.
Oh.
Yeah. I was 12 years old. Well, that smells like oaky whiskey.
Smells like.
Does it smell a little off to you?
Surely not.
Because it kind of smells a little off to me.
Well, that cork was so dry. It didn't pop at all. Surely this is not bad. Here goes our money down the drain. Doesn't taste bad.
It tastes okay.
Doesn't taste great.
Doesn't taste what we paid for it.
No. What the fuck?
That's okay. Maybe it'll open up.
God damn it. Okay, we don't. All right, let's not open this till next week.
Okay.
And we'll try it again.
Leave it here because I'm going to leave it here because it will get opened if it goes home with me.
I'm not going to open it either. I'm going to set it back here in the corner.
Teamwork.
We're going to let it sit there, and we're not going to try it. Remember what we're tasting now. Son of a bitch.
All right. We're kicking it off with the text messages we got sent.
Bad.
Yeah, it doesn't smell good. It smells like cat pee.
It smells bad.
It smells like cat pee. I'm not even kidding.
Minnie's not even down here, so we can't blame her either.
Where's my
She's
friend?
Upstairs.
Yeah.
She always gets in the front of the camera, then she runs up there, hits the door, comes back down, opens the door, and then she wants back in. She's got dementia.
You're right. She's like 4.
Dude, she was 4 when we got her.
Oh. How old is she now?
We've had her for like 8 years.
She is ridiculously spry for a 12-year-old cat.
Yeah.
Dang, son.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I really thought she was a baby.
No,
Okay.
she was already grown when we got her, and we got her in our first house.
Dang. Okay, well.
All right, who we got here?
Well, we're kicking it off. I had saved texts that we got from last week.
Okay.
For you to read with me this week. First one is from the old Bagadona boy.
Oh, yeah, know him.
Howdy hoo! Just a quick check-in while listening to the 321st week of Timbip. I am giving away my Maker Cellar Aged. All serious inquiries should be directed to @WhiskeyMutant DMs. You reap what you sow, baby.
There's a lot of stuff going on in my DMs lately, bro.
I can see that I'm going blind. Hope you're listening, Eric.
I can see I'm going blind.
P.S. I think I can help with my ride or die King's ring from last week. Eric did ask for someone to step up and be the new rival to replace Chad and contrast the two kings. Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. That's pretty good.
Then he texted in again.
Okay.
Even though I said last week, Tony, that I wasn't going to read the texts out until Eric got back because you were an important part of these text messages. So we got to work on our listening comprehension. I'm still sending a barrel ring, even though you didn't read mine last week. You did play an alternate universe barrel ring, though, so sick of it. That was just for the Twitch stream and for the uncut version because I was checking audio.
Okay.
What are we doing, Tony?
Tony, we know.
Oh, wait, no, that's not true. Jared called in and he left a message before I had told anybody that the Chads had dropped out on me.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah. Hey, you got your wish. You got your wish. There was no prancing.
Freaking Chads. They're all fucking Chads. Anyway, Tony, we know you're blind, but you can listen. You ain't deaf.
P.S. You already have a name for your hypothetical bourbon brand. I mean, it's right there. TIMB. This is my bourbon.
This is my bourbon.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks, Tony. We also have a text.
Oh,
from Jared.
Was he going to tell us how much anime is a cartoon world and it doesn't make sense?
No, just hold on.
Is that a Cabbage Patch Kids with a dick?
Eric taking a piss at a Bills game. We'll just pretend it's a Josh Allen jersey instead of Jim McMahon. Well, and yeah, I'm putting it up on screen for the video watchers because it is so funny.
And I'm bald. I mean, it's perfect. All right, Jared. I love you again.
He also sent in, saw the news that Akira Toriyama died. Hopefully this cheers up Derek. I know how he likes sweet kicks.
Oh, those are cool.
I do love that. I'll put it up on screen too, but it's
Some Crocs.
It's Crocs with little Dragon Ball pins in it. All right. Man, we got some catching up to do. We have 4 voicemails we got to get to. Here's what I was thinking about this today with the barrel rings. When we get these, it feels like we're doing like a sports show. You know, like a sports morning show where people call in and they leave their opinions about how the I almost said Bills, how the Bills are doing.
I'm ready for football season to start back, man.
Why? Basketball's been so much fun. Anyway, first one comes from Emily.
Ellen Fast message. One related to your new incoming message. Eric needs merch that is like #BallHouse because it's come up across several podcasts and just needs new merch now. Semi-related to your sometime occasional sponsorship with Adam and Eve. 2 words. Pelvic floor. It's related to the quick draw thing that Eric likes to perfect. So it's a thing. You're welcome. Have a good week.
You've been doing your Kegels?
Always. Every day.
Doing them right now?
I do them all through the day. The quick draw.
I love that name for it. I mean, that's just chef's kiss.
Not many times I'm left speechless on this show.
We also had a voicemail from Jared.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jared here. Keeping the streak alive. Perry, you did an admirable job last week. You definitely made lemonade out of lemons. Next time, maybe shoot for lemon bars. I don't like lemon meringue pie, so don't do that. But lemon bars would be good. Yeah, the Chavs really hung out to dry there. You did what you could. It was weird listening to the episode on the podcast app after hearing some of it on the Twitch stream, and it was a strange experience. I don't know if I'll do that again. Good job. Eric, hope you had fun in Disney. We missed you. You didn't leave a barrel ring, as Bill suggested. So it was weird not hearing your voice. But hope you had fun. I'm glad you're back. And as you heard, there was no prancing. Though I got $1 says you won't jump up and prance around a little bit right now on camera. Yeah, just saying, you're accepting dares. Otherwise, hope this regular episode's going well. Look forward to hearing it, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later.
Is that what the Chads do? Is that their prancing?
Yeah, they prance around because they got all this bourbon and all these likes and these subscribers, and they prance.
Oh, it's metaphorical prancing.
They prance around. That's what they do. Get the fuck out of here.
It's amazing how little of that is going to be picked up on a microphone.
That was prancing.
Okay.
They were going to do that the whole show anyway.
Hey, thank you though, Jared. I was a little apprehensive about the solo episode.
You didn't even remember you did solo episodes back in COVID.
Yeah, I know, right? I went live on Twitch for the recording because I needed something to play off of. And I had, also asked for topic suggestions in the Discord as well. But I was more nervous for that episode than I have been for an episode in a really long time. And I don't really fully know why.
Hey, I mean, you do your live streams and all that stuff.
I know, that's the thing. But live streams, and I think that's why I did the Twitch stream too,
so you could
I could exactly I had something to bounce off of instead of just staring at a wall and recording a podcast. It really did help kind of calm me down to have
makes sense,
other things going on. And you popped in too. It was really funny. You also
out real quick,
I made you a Twitch mod as well, so you're one of my moderators now on Twitch.
Awesome.
You and Tully Weeds.
Nice.
Of my 3 viewers, 2 of them are mods on Twitch. Also, I'm trying to go live on Twitch more aside from just doing my Thursday night live streams. So it'll have passed by now, but I talked about it on my stream last night. I will have gone live on this past Sunday for Mario Day, playing some.
It's a me.
Playing
It's a me.
some Mario games. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope it went well.
I think it did.
I hope so.
That one time was kind of.
Are you going to be there to moderate anything?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
It's a me.
All right.
Why does this not taste good?
It really doesn't. It tastes like sour oak.
God bless. Well, pop that one.
I was going to say we could pop this.
Or, what else you got in that bag, yo's?
Turkey 12.
Turkey 12.
Okay.
I mean, it's foolproof. We can have that whenever we want to.
Well, we'll also open that to close out the night. Anyway, while we're getting this poured up.
God bless. I cannot believe this freaking logic.
I'm so bummed.
To put that money in those things.
Bill.
What is going on, boys? Welcome back, Eric. Hopefully you had a fantastic time.
I did.
On your little mini vacation. Yeah.
That's a cork.
So it's still a little chilly here in Wisconsin. We had some peaks of what was, nice spring weather, but we're still in winter technically, so I think.
He sounds so
Are we?
sad.
I don't know.
He does.
Now I'm doubting myself. Anywho,
Seasonal affective disorder.
so in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, I was curious on two particular items. Number one, what is your favorite Irish whiskey? And please don't say that you don't drink Irish whiskeys, because I know you do. And number two, if we want to pause for dramatic effect or whatever. Number two, is it St. Paddy, Paddy, or St. Patty, Patty? Now, I have my own opinions on this, but I'll let you guys weigh in. I'll let the rest of the Discord weigh in. But I got to tell you, I'm pretty adamant about one way of it going, and it drives me crazy when I see it the other way. And I don't know if that's a hot take or whatever. So there's that. My plan is to go get me some Reuben sandwiches. I'm going to try and find the best Reuben sandwich in Milwaukee. So I guess my third question is, what's the best Reuben sandwich out there in Lexington? Maybe I need to go hit that up when I'm out there next. Anywho, hopefully you all have a great day. Enjoy each other's time, and that's everything I got for you. So with that, peace out.
Peace out. A lot of questions to answer.
Okay, let's just start from the top.
Why are you so sad, Bill?
Yeah.
He sounds sad.
What was the first question? The Irish whiskeys?
Irish whiskeys. I mean, I've only had a few. I'm going to go with Tillings. Just because I like it in cold brew.
Is that the one that...
It's the one that...
Swan donated?
Yeah. I think. Let me see.
It is quite good.
It's a black bottle. And it's got like a white,
yeah. I mean, it's not that I don't drink Irish whiskeys, but there aren't a whole lot that I guess I remember off the top of my head. I mean, of course, there's Jameson. I love this bottle.
Yeah, that's the one. It goes very
finished in rum casks?
Yeah, it's
really
whiskey.
92 proof.
Oh, this turkey.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better than Wow, I can't say most of these distilleries because I don't know how to pronounce them.
Oh my gosh, that's an N-word one. What the heck kind of Irish whiskey?
What is Ireland doing?
What are they doing? Oh.
Pierce Lyons Distillery. I forgot that Altec had their has an actual
What is that when you toast? Is that an Irish thing?
I don't know. I don't know if it's an anywhere thing. I think it's just a thing.
Never mind.
My arms are too short.
Well, maybe I can do it.
What other questions do you have?
He also had the question about Patty, St. Patty's Day.
Double D's.
Double D.
Double D's all the day. I mean, I don't ever like question how I'm going to spell Patty or St. Patrick or Patty's Day. I just automatically in my head when I see it or think about it, I just see D's.
Yeah.
These nuts.
He's back. He's back, folks. He's here. This is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That's my answer.
These nuts?
Yeah.
Okay. Best Reuben in Lexington. I am not a Reuben guy. I am a
I couldn't tell you the last time I had a Reuben sandwich.
I'm a fish and chips guy for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, baby.
However, I have always heard that the Reuben at Winchell's.
Oh, that is a big thing. They always promote it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one of the. So it's WINCHELL.
Winchell's, baby.
I love
Bill's probably
Winchell's,
heard me
man.
talk about it.
Probably. I mean,
in the healthcare world, it opens early and people start drinking.
That's where night shift people
the night
go.
shift. That's night shift dinner time.
Yeah. Their Reuben is supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Let's go have one sometime.
Okay.
Let's just say we did.
All right. And this one is from, we got a new caller who's called before, but they have not used this name.
What?
I know who it is.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, Romeo McFlourish here again. Wanted to check in. Welcome back, Eric. Vacation at Disney looked awesome. Perry, maybe a little disappointed in you that you didn't catch my leap day joke with my last barrel ring. You know, I'll give it to you. You were running solo that day. Question for you guys this week. What would you consider vintage bourbon? Personally, myself, I would consider if it was a limited release, the very next year, quarter, whatever it is, when the next one gets released, the previous one then becomes vintage. If it's a shelfer, Turkey, Buffalo Trace, Four Roses, whatever it might be, I'm thinking maybe once it becomes 10 years old would then be considered vintage. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, what you would consider vintage in the bourbon world. Happy drinking. Well, see you later.
Well, see you later.
Thanks,
Rope. Say, well, see you later.
Thanks, Romeo McFlourish.
Who the fuck is this? Oh,
I protected his identity, so I bleeped his name out, or I took it out completely.
That guy, vintage.
You're telling me he's a fan?
It's him.
Isn't he in prison?
I thought he was dead.
He wrote a book.
I'm pretty sure he's a female now.
Not that guy.
Oh, my bad.
What do we consider vintage?
Okay. Vintage to me is still, I don't even think about it just as whiskey. I think about it as like vintage, like basketball cards, vintage clothing, all that. And I kind of take that into consideration when I think about vintage whiskey. I'm thinking like 20-year-old, like dusty bottles and stuff. Vintage to me, even a 10-year-old bottle, like we're getting close to, I probably have stuff that's almost 10 years old over there that I've had. I don't think that is vintage.
Hurts my heart.
What?
There's stuff that's over there that's 10 years old. Like, just thinking about how long we've been drinking bourbon. Anyway.
It's crazy.
I think the earliest that I'm willing to go to consider something vintage is the 90s.
Yeah. Like, well, that would be what?
That's 30 years ago.
30 years ago? I'd say 20 and beyond.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
But it has to just feel in my head like vintage, like old school, old style.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry to use your least favorite word.
It's
but
fine. It is the English language. I mean, we got to use words.
Yeah, for me, 90s is where I start to really consider a bottle to be vintage.
And then maybe since I grew up more in the 90s, where I'm a little older than you, the 90s, I know that the 90s was freaking almost 40 years ago. I mean, I was born in 85. But to me, it's just got to seem just like old. It's just got to be old school, old style. Vintage to me, like vintage to like one of my kids is probably like, 2000s or something like that.
All of your kids were born after the turn of the century. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, even Addison.
Yeah, 2007? 08.
Oh, wait. Gotcha.
Yeah, I had to say her full birthday because when I
don't say it out loud.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. Yeah, vintage
999.
999.
Is she the devil turned upside down?
It's not 999.
Upside down devil.
We just said her birth year is 8.
Hello. I'm the devil.
I'm the
All the blood's rushing to my head, and I kind of like it. I'm just the devil, but upside down. What? I'm on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's my children.
More or less terrifying than the actual devil.
Yeah, for sure.
Upside. No, I'm asking you a question.
Oh. I thought you were making a statement. I
said more or less terrifying than the actual devil.
But that sounds like something you would say. That's more or less terrifying. You know what I mean?
Okay. Let's move on.
Me no good with words. Okay?
Me no do good words.
Me no talk good.
I'm sorry.
We've made this a point before. Me don't know stuff. Me no. Uben, laben, lieben, luben.
High proof hot takes.
High proof hot takes. I just can't say it. Can't say it.
It's okay.
I'm kind of over Bourbon Instagram. Kind of over it, man. And I'm not going to call a person out because they're actually my friend. And it's kind of me giving them a hard time. But they straight up ripped my content. No, not even like a little nod. Not even a nod. I just think I think the little guys who like have a small following, whatever, like I think that they don't get the recognition that they normally do. You know what I'm saying? And I think the bigger guys who know that, they need to come on, show us a little respect.
Amen.
That's all I'm saying.
That's also my high proof hot take.
Show some respect.
Because I don't have any. What was the one I said earlier?
I can't say it.
Okay. Well, what if that was my Perry's a great guy.
But
it's just, and there's not even really a real reason for it. I did cut out something there for the main episode.
Oh.
That was really good.
Oh, shit.
This is what happens when we don't see each other for 2 weeks.
And we record at fucking midnight.
Yeah, it's 11:41.
It's awesome.
I'm genuinely having a great time.
I am too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, though, tips and bits.
Tips and bits. I think...
Thinking about your previous comment and then tips and bits is really funny. This is the segment of the show where we recommend things that we've been watching, reading, listening to, Just enjoying in general recently. Maybe playing if it's a video game. I don't know. What have you been enjoying?
So it's been a fun week for our boy Andrew Santino.
Yeah, dude.
He has a movie that just came out on Amazon Prime called Ricky Stenicki, where he is co-starring with John Cena, Zac Efron. There's another guy on there. I can't remember his name. But it's funny. It's a comedy, and they made it like just the comedies that we haven't seen in a while, where it's just over the top, just dumb shit.
They couldn't make that today.
Exactly. I can't even say some of the stuff. It's great. But it's about three friends who they made up a person when they were kids to get themselves out of trouble. So it's like every time they got in trouble, they're like, they blamed it on Ricky Stenicki. And they kept this person, like, kept making stories up and now they're adults. They're like married and all this stuff. And like, if they want to go do something, they tell their wives like, oh, Ricky's like dying. We got to go see him and stuff. And so basically something happens and they have to have somebody play Ricky Stenicki.
Yeah.
And it's John Cena. And he's like this like crazy actor who becomes Ricky Stenicki. And it just all the crazy stuff happens. It's on Amazon Prime. It's hilarious. Andrew also did an episode of whatever her podcast is called, The Best Podcast or whatever, Bobby Althoff. If you've ever seen...
Oh, right.
If you ever seen clips of her, like, I don't watch...
They're on like a golf course?
They're on a golf course. She did like interviews with Drake. She tries to be very awkward and like all that. And Andrew Santino basically turns this thing around and he matches her. He matches her and like everybody's pretty much like, oh, she met her match on this one. Like she was like laughing and stuff like that. I watched the whole thing. I've never watched a full episode of her podcast before. I've only watched clips. But it's just a friggin' like 40-minute just Andrew Santino show, and it's fucking amazing. That and on the flight there and back from Disney, I got caught up on the new season of The Bad Batch.
Oh yeah.
There's like 4 episodes out.
Yeah,
so good. I love that show so much. Bad Batch is a Star Wars spinoff. It's about this group of clones that were kind of like this special team of clones. And I don't know, you'd had to watch the first 2 seasons, probably the first 3 seasons to know, but Bad Batch final season looking good. So
I don't have a whole lot that I would consider new, I guess, this week, but I've been working so much recently that I hadn't had the chance to start watching the show. And Lucy wanted to watch it with me as well. But we got through the first episode of Shogun on FX.
That's on my queue.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard nothing but good things.
It's some of the best television I've seen maybe ever.
I was torn between downloading Bad Batch and that, and I knew that I wanted to watch that on my big screen.
You want to watch it on your big screen.
So I was like, I put it off. So yes, I'm probably going to have some episodes watched by next episode.
It's phenomenal. Like I said, we're really only 1 episode into it, but the set dressing is perfect. The costuming is amazing. The acting is like top tier. Everything about it's like a 10 out of 10 show.
Yeah, that's all I've heard.
Honestly. Yeah. The only unfortunate part is that it probably won't get a second season. Damn it. So, do with that what you will. But I figured it would probably be appropriate too, since we talked about it at the beginning of the show, to at least suggest a couple of different Dragon Ball things to if you've never seen it or read it or experienced it as a whole.
Dragon Ball GT.
No. I think the most accessible jumping on point really is Dragon Ball Z in general.
Yeah.
If you don't have the patience to get through all the episodes in their original format, Dragon Ball Z Kai does exist. It cuts down a lot of the filler content, not all of it, but it is a very faithful adaptation to the original manga. The original manga is front to back perfection. I mean, the original, how many? Well, that's in Japanese.
40.
It's like 40 something.
Yeah,
I think it's like
I just
43.
Yeah, it's 40.
Original volumes of Dragon Ball. They're extremely easy to get into. They're a very fast, quick-paced read as well. As far as like the most true experience to understanding Toriyama's original vision for the story as well, there's nothing that compares to the manga. I mean that's it. I mean, like, I get to the point where I'm like, I would rather read it than sit down and watch the show again.
It's great.
It's just incredible. Again, 10 out of 10, top tier content. And then if you're looking for a video game, the best Dragon Ball video game, hands down, is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It is the entire story of the main character Goku. Kakarot. Did I hear a cat?
She's outside.
Okay. Kakarot
She's
is
got
his
sensu beans for us.
Great, finally. Kakarot is his birth name. So it's literally just taking you through the game, his entire life story. Yes, that was the naming convention that Toriyama used for the characters in Dragon Ball. They were all food names.
Vegeta.
Vegetable. Raditz. Radish. Gohan means rice.
Bulma.
That actually means panties.
Yes. If you watch Dragon Ball,
there's a really good joke in the first season.
Yes.
Also, she's 16 in that, so
I was
also 16.
16. Weird,
but very strange. But I also like, if you're more into like retro gaming as well, the Legacy of Goku games on the Game Boy Advance were phenomenal. They're RPGs, so you get to experience them as if you were actually. I mean, same with Kakarot. You're going through you're basically in first person mode through everything. I've played the Legacy of Goku games so many times. Oh, I've genuinely lost count for how many times.
You want to know the first Dragon Ball Z games I played? They were on the computer, and I had to download them.
Was that
on my little emulator?
Was that the Super Butoden?
Yeah.
That was.
Oh
that
my
was,
god!
So I mean, that paved the way for like the Tenkaichi games, because it's basically just like Mortal Kombat style, 1-on-1 PvP. There we go. Battling.
That's fun.
But yeah, those Super Butoden games are crazy.
And I would also recommend anime music videos. All the Dragon. I watched growing up when
That's
I
how you learned about
got
Linkin
good
Park.
internet. Linkin Park, Disturbed, all this stuff. People would just edit like scenes from like Dragon Ball Z and like movies that weren't even out yet to me, and I was like, "What is this?" And I would be like, "In the end, it doesn't even matter." Somebody would die, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." So
Anyway,
Dragon Ball Z rules.
it's just the best, man. I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna go to sleep when I get home. I think I'm gonna stay up and
I just look around and see Dragon Ball.
It's everywhere, man. I mean, it's such a big part of who we are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't mean to be super parasocial about it or anything, but it was like it was a significant loss for something that we enjoy.
Look at the drip on this
boy. Look at Trunks,
right here.
Man. Look at Trunks.
I mean, that jacket.
Ugh.
Them yellow boots right there. I want to look like that.
Even Manny wants to.
I want to look like that. I don't have the hair, though.
We'll get you a wig.
Rest in power. Rest in power.
Anyway, you want to take us home?
I already am home. But if you want to feel at home, you want to be part of the family.
It's one of my favorite episodes ever.
You can go to patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. But at $5, you are welcomed in. You get the Discord. You get all the bonus content. You get this episode uncut. The stuff that I said that it just can't be heard in public. It just can't. Perry does a great job of keeping me uncanceled. But yeah, patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast. Support the show, get all the updates, get all the uncut stuff. It's the best place to go. I would say, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I would say the second place to go would be to our social media.
Yeah.
You can go to Instagram at MyBourbonPod. You can follow me at Whiskey Mutant. Follow Perry at PRitter1792. We post show updates. I do all my pairings and all that stuff. And Instagram is just a thing. You already heard me talk about it. But
that's also where I post updates for my music.
And his music.
Too. Perry Ritter Music.
Perry Ritter Music. And
I need a better handle.
It's all good. It's simple.
It is.
It is simple.
Yeah.
But you send us a DM there if you don't want to go through like email or anything like that. But if you do want to send us an email, get the address of somewhere to send something or a suggestion for the show.
Well,
this is mybourbonshop@gmail.com. We'll get to that. Okay.
Well, they don't have to email for it anymore. They can just email us if they want to say what up.
What do we do with the email for then?
I do it for scheduling.
If you want to schedule an interview, if you're listening to this, email. This is
formal inquiries.
Yes,
please send to
bourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want merch, bourbonshop.threadless.com. All the designs, everything is on there. Perry is constantly updating that. When the live show happens soon, we'll probably have a new logo design for that. So I'll be checking that out. What else? What's P.O. Box?
P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522. Send us samples, bottles, snail mail, whatever.
No body parts. No bodily fluids.
Please, for the love of God.
Trust me, we've already got a warning.
Don't do it again.
We've already got a warning.
You know who you are.
Yes. If you want to watch this episode, if you're listening, you want to see us, see our faces, go to youtube.com. This is My Bourbon Podcast on YouTube. All the episodes are on there. Perry goes live every Thursday for his live stream. And then you also do some shorts on there sometimes, too.
I do every now and then, just clips from the podcast. I'm sure we have something on this week's episode.
Probably.
Throw up over there.
You just do one that just bleeps out everything for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Also, twitch.tv/MyBourbonGamer. I'm going live over there more often these days, trying to play some video games, drinking bourbon while I do it as well. But I really would like to push for more of a Twitch presence.
What could Whiskey Mutant do on Twitch? Could I just put an anime on? Can you just put a show on and just drink bourbon and talk about it?
Yeah.
You won't get like banned or anything? Interesting.
I mean, we could do a Dragon Ball live watch. We'll talk about it. We'll figure something out. Anyway.
Tell everybody about us.
Rate and review the show as well.
Word. Rate, review, comment, subscribe, all the stuff. Push the buttons.
I forgot we have a new review.
And we have a new review.
We do. I saved it for this week as well because they specifically mentioned you.
Aw.
It's from Nathan Taylor.
Hey, Nate.
KSD. Great podcast with honest, open reviews. The banter back and forth keeps me interested and wanting to hear more. Keep working, fellas. I've enjoyed Eric's content for years, but am new to the podcast. Excuse me.
Let's go.
It's another 5-star review. Look at
Stars. Yeah, you do that. You leave a 5-star review. You say something. We'll put you on the show. We'll read it out.
that. And we appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, and then the bell rings.
859-428-8253.
Leave a voicemail. We'll play you. You'll be like the third podcast host. All right. But anyway, Nathan, thanks for that. Thanks for checking out Whiskey Mute and stuff. Thanks for... I'm always excited when I help bring somebody to the show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
When a Whiskey Mutant fan has come and now they're a 10-bit fan, like that warms my heart. So,
Makes me happy too.
Cheers.
See y'all next week. Until then, though, I'm Perry.
And I'm Eric.
Oh, actually, we have another interview next week.
Ooh.
We'll talk to you about it off air. Stay tuned for that, though. Until then,
Andrew Santino.
this is my Bourbon Podcast.
Me? What?